Joe, stop laughing. What is up, guys? Today we're going to be doing the 6-speed manual transmission swap and 4.3 clutch type differential swap into my NB Miata. So currently this is a factory 5-speed with a 4.77 Torsen Type 2 limited slip diff out the back. So for the setup, here's the new 6-speed transmission. This will bolt right up using 1.8 drive shaft and axles. Here is the 4.3 differential. This is a clutch type diff unit itself from a naturally aspirated 2nd generation FC RX-7. Energy suspension polyurethane diff mounts. So the reason why I'm changing this car is two things. One, this transmission is making a terrible input shaft bearing noise, which I'll try to demonstrate that right here. So that bearing has been making this noise now on and off for years, and it's not, I thought initially it was throwout bearing or pilot bearing, but it's definitely something inside the transmission. It is now actually leaking oil. So what I think that input shaft is wobbling and it wore the seal out, and it's causing the transmission to actually lose some transmission fluid. So that's one of the reasons why, and the other reason why is the gearing. So I run currently on here a 205/45/16 tire, has an overall diameter of 23.3. This is my current gearing highlighted here on the left. At the top of 5th at 7,800 RPM, which is where the rev limiter is set on this motor. I have 139.99 mile per hour max speed, and I have actually been able to hit that with 185 horsepower at the wheels. Switching over to the green here, this is what my gearing will go to with the 6-speed and the 4.3. Now, a couple things to take note. I'm going to lose some mile per hour in the lower gear. So it's 3 miles per hour in 1st, 5 miles per hour in 6th, 9 miles per hour in 3rd, and so on and so forth. But I'm okay with that drop because once I did the new engine setup and we opened everything up, we ported the head. The header has the venturi removed from it. The ITBs have been bored out to 50 millimeters. I lost low end power underneath 4,800 RPM, and power band really just starts to pick up after 6 with the new setup. So it's kind of, the engine kind of became like really more like VTEC and moved the power band up top. So having this boost in the torque down in the lower gears is going to be helpful, I think, to make up for some of that power that I lost. But here's where I'm gaining, and this is really the big driving factor. So top speed at the top of 6 to 7,800 RPM now goes to 149.75 miles per hour. It's a gain of 10 miles per hour. In my cruise, when I'm cruising, I gain about 5 miles per hour in 6th versus 5th in the 4.77 diff on the 5-speed. That became really obnoxious and really annoying, as like 80 miles an hour is 4,400 and change RPM, and it's brutal. I hated driving the car for long trips because of that. So dropping that 500 RPM will definitely help for cruise. It's still not a car that I would want to pick for like a long trip, but it will be better and it'll make the car overall more friendlier on the street. Not to mention, I can't wait to not have to listen to that horrible rod knocking noise that the input shaft bearing, or not the input shaft, but the bearing inside the transmission for the input shaft makes, because it sounds like the motor's rod knocking at idle. I found myself pushing the clutch in quite a bit to cover up that noise because it was so embarrassing when I was sitting at a stop. So let's, now that you have the backstory, we're gonna begin this project. I'm not gonna go over every little nitty-gritty detail, as there's quite a bit to do both of these swaps. But if you're doing this yourself and you have questions, feel free to leave it below and I'll do my best to help you out along the way. But we'll document all the important parts. So let's begin. So before I start pulling everything apart, I'm going to give you one quick shot here of the underbody. Now that I have a lift and I have appropriate lighting under here, you can kind of see all the undercoating work, the powder coating work, all the fresh hardware. I'm really a stickler for clean underbodies, and that's been one of the things I've really enjoyed incorporating throughout all my builds, is having everything restored and nice and fresh and clean underneath, and especially makes taking stuff off much more hassle free. So, and it looks nice. It looks like nicer than it came out of the factory. I gotta get you on camera.
This thing is half the weight of a stock exhaust system.
Yeah, fucking A, right?
Oh god, yeah. Half the weight. I already turned it.
I turned it for you. I fucking got you, Joe.
Alright, turn it.
You want to take that out?
Well, I didn't get the other one out.
Oh.
That's why I was surprised that it was turned.
I didn't realize that's what... I thought you already took it out.
No.
I was watching through the camera. I can't see what's going on here.
Oops. Alright. Go ahead, but...
Get that one out. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
It's the worst footage ever, Joe.
I know.
It's alright. I'm sure they'll forgive you because you're old.
Hey, I'm not like my mother. Her nickname is Granny Two Canes.
You should see your snow white hair under this fucking light right here, Joe.
Alright, I got the bolts, I got the washers, I got everything.
Alright, I'm still filming. Do you want to take the drive shaft out or you want me to?
I'll get it.
I can't get it with one hand and holding the camera. I'm not as strong as you.
Well, it won't come off because you got so much freaking paint on here. It's stuck.
That is not why, Joe.
Yes, it is.
I didn't paint this.
Somebody did.
That's the factory fucking drive shaft.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. This is not.
I didn't paint that. Look at, there's all fucking rust spots and shit on it. I definitely didn't paint this.
You got a rubber mallet? I'm gonna need something to hit it with.
Here, you're gonna take over film. I'll do this. All right, don't break your hand. Here.
Now you're going.
You know how I know I didn't paint this? Because the fucking sticker's still on it. This is the original drive shaft there, buddy.
Yes, it's not just me.
See, it's just because my stuff fits nice and tight all the time. That's why we don't have these issues. Longer. I did the training fluid when I put the new motor back in. Because when I had the motor out, I had my buddy paint the tranny for me. Mm-hmm. So,
I've saved tranny fluid and diff fluid because, you know, it was like brand new.
Do you want this?
No. You'd shoot me.
Oh, whenever I would buy a car, I would usually change all the fluids.
Yeah, there's no history. And, you know, the car's got 100,000 miles on it.
Tranny fluid, I agree with keeping up on the maintenance intervals. Like,
it's manual, 50,000 miles.
50,000?
Yeah, look in the book.
Dude, you could feel the fucking shifting get crappy.
A regular driven street Miata. It's like 50,000 miles.
I mean, maybe if you fucking putz it around like old man all the time.
No,
you don't do that.
No, but I've had my so many times it doesn't matter.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm
I usually end up taking the fucker out before.
That's right.
And so I just change it while I'm doing it.
But see, I see cars, and you know they got 100,000 miles on them. When's the last time you changed your tranny fluid? I don't know. So I change it.
Yeah. No, I understand in that case. Like I would change it too.
But you know, I'm driving 3,000-4,000 miles a month.
That's fucking crazy, dude. I probably put 1,000 miles a month.
Kathy, we got her Tucson in October of last year.
So yeah.
She hasn't even hit 6,000 miles yet.
Well, I wish my wife could do the same thing. That fucking CX-5, we got at the beginning of last year. She's already got like 36,000 miles on that fucking thing. What? Dude, I don't know how the fuck she does it.
All right, hold it. You're on a lease?
Yeah.
Do you know how much that's gonna fucking cost you unless you buy out the lease?
We paid something so like she can go over without like really any penalty or whatever.
Yeah, so that's 45,000 miles total at the end of 3 years.
I know. Well, how much?
It's not a matter of annual mileage. It's what you have when you turn it in.
Joe, I can't control her. She's out of control.
If she's got that many miles on it, most leases it's 20 cents a mile.
I think she's running drugs on the side between you and me. Don't tell anybody. She's doing something nefarious, Joe.
Most leases is 20 cents a mile.
Now there was something that we bought, like she can go over without like the penalty. It's so you don't get charged per mile. Okay, so we were wondering what the best way was to pull the diff out, and I know there's a whole bunch of different ways to take this out, but I didn't want to undo anything more than I have to. So we just undid the bottom knuckle bolt here, pulled this out free, and we loosened the top so it can pivot. This almost gives us enough room to get the axle out. However, we are just held up by the stainless steel brake line over here. So I'm going to, and it's the way I have to have this turned, to clear the inside of my wheels. So I'm just going to undo the caliper, let this go free, and that should give us enough room to pivot and pull the axle out completely. Keebler actually fucking rebuilt all these calipers when I did the suspension. I'll never do that again. For what it costs for a fucking caliper.
I know.
I'm actually getting rid of the stock brakes soon, I think, for the weight savings. I can't grab it. There we go.
Oops.
Pad and spring. Okay. So,
let's see whether or not we can get the axle out.
oh, come on. There we go.
There we go. Ta-da.
All right, there's one side.
That worked.
Yep. Not bad. Minimal work.
Very minimal.
Whoops. Joe, filming here. You want to hear something funny? I do in a lot of my videos. I rip a fart and I don't edit it out. But nobody ever really catches it or says anything. I don't know if
Not yet.
I don't know if the internet's just being nice, or if they just don't really know that that's what's going on.
They're paying more attention to what you're filming instead of what noises you're making.
That's one of my secrets.
Yeah,
Look at how nice that is.
Yeah, my NB didn't come apart that way.
And the last time that this bolt was out was 2010.
It took us 7 hours to change the lower control arms on my purple car.
What?
Well, on one side the shock bolt broke, snapped right off.
Yeah.
And on the other side, the shock bushing tore out with the bolt frozen in the sleeve.
Look at that.
And then,
Look at all that NECs.
yeah.
There.
Yeah, that didn't come out real easy. All right.
Okay. So that's loose.
That's loose.
Yep. And I don't want to block the camera's view. Try not to block the camera's view. Oh! Knocking the light over.
It came unplugged.
It's my wife's. Dude, you can't pivot this thing without it tipping over.
Well, you've got the thing tilted over so far. Oh, now I can't see a thing.
Don't look at the light. Joe, it's not your time yet. Don't look into the light. Look at that.
Look at that. That is like
Beautiful.
That's golden. That is so easy.
Beautiful thing there.
As long as you're not trying to change the axle.
Right. Yeah, if you're actually...
Make that perfectly clear when you sound dub over it. As long as you're not trying to change the axle, that is definitely...
Joe, I'm not editing our voicing out of this, so whatever you're saying is on record.
Yeah, well...
You're farting everything. The internet's going to see it. But yeah, this is for quick change differential job. in a pinch.
So you want to remove this one. And then loosen this one. And remove this one.
You like that bracket?
That's pretty sporty.
How come you didn't recognize that, Joe?
It's a non-stock bracket. That's one that you had made to hang that fancy ass header and exhaust system.
No, I didn't have it made. It came with it.
Oh.
The fancy ass header came with it, Joe.
All right. Fancy ass header came with it.
Joel, we have to film this. All right, so after we hammered these up to loosen up the knurled nuts at the top to get the fittings out of the power plant frame, I'm loosening them by hand, unthreading them. To take them out the rest of the way. Come on, baby. Ugh. It's getting tight at the top, Joe.
You didn't put enough anti-seize on it when you put it back together.
Shut the fuck up. I was swimming in antifreeze when I put this, or anti-seize when I put this car back together.
Then why did this one have all the rust dust?
Maybe I did anti-seize these, I don't remember. This one's coming out easy though. What the fuck is going on here?
There's rust on the end of the bolt.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your valuable insight.
Hey. There you go.
Ooh. There's no rust on that bolt. Maybe.
What's all of this?
This isn't the problem.
That's where it goes through the sleeve.
That's it.
That's where it goes through the sleeve.
Throwing it away. I hate this thing.
Yeah, it is a kind of a screwball design.
Why didn't they do something better for this? No.
You have to pry it.
I can't. There's nothing, it's not grabbing on anything. Where's that giant screwdriver?
Forward. Now it's starting to come out.
Yeah, the fucking Marne is put in the power plant frame now. Fuck you, Mazda. Can't have anything nice. I think it's out.
It probably is. It's probably out far enough. Yeah,
it looks like
loose.
It's out, right?
Yeah, it's
right.
Loose.
Oh, my poor power plant frame. Good thing it's aluminum, Joe. Why don't we get the small ones up now?
Did you want to film?
I'm filming.
Oh, okay.
Smart Alec. Joe, I'm fucking filming already.
Sorry.
Hey, you want an extension for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Fuck it. Stabilize that for 1 second there, buddy. Go ahead, Joe, smile.
I'm smiling, look at that. Should I do my Vanna White impression?
Man, the internet is not ready for you, my friend. They're not ready for you.
Of course not.